Ranjit Kumar, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. I have three Senior Advocates of the Supreme Court with me tonight. Aryaman Sundaram and Neeraj Kishan Kaul. Mr. Kaul, thanks. Nice to see you on Newshour after quite some time.
Hi, how are you?
Aryaman Sundaram thinks that there isn't much to really complain about. If I haven't, he believes she's not wrong in what she said.
Not clear.
Mr. Sundaram? Okay. Mr. Sundaram, can you hear me? Not yet. Okay.
Clearly, Arnab, could you repeat your question, please?
Now, I want to be sure that I'm not quoting you wrong. You see, nowadays the season of misquotes. So I want to be sure I'm not quoting you wrong, because I was saying to Neeraj Kishan Kaul that you believe Mamata is not wrong in what she said, right?
Sorry? Hello? Arnab?
Yes.
Is that question addressed to me?
To you, Mr. Sundaram. Make your point so I can get a reaction from Neeraj.
Well, I think this matter has to be looked at from three aspects. Number one, what was said? Number two, in what context was it said? And number three, who said it? When looked at from these three aspects, what I believe you find is that, first of all, what was said, unfortunately, there is a perception among many members of the public. There is a perception amongst many members of the public that there is an element of corruption in the judiciary, at least in the subordinate judiciary. Coupled with this is an unfortunate fact that even in the higher judiciary, we've had cases of corruption cases against judges. We've had impeachment proceedings against judges.
Yes.
Impeachment proceedings against a high court judge who was about to become a judge of the Supreme Court. Now, therefore, what was said, and I repeat, what was said was, judgments can be bought, unfortunately, is a public perception. Two, what was the nature in which it was said? If it was in the nature of there should be judicial accountability, and if it was discussed from the point of judicial accountability, such a statement would indicate that for the purpose of judicial accountability, a reality must be considered.
No,
that
the
is number
question
two.
here is very simple.
Number three, the unfortunate part is who said it. Now, when that comes from the mouth of a chief minister, it then creates a huge issue. There are people, there are litigants who say the same thing. But when the chief minister said it, that is what has created a huge issue.
Question is, was it a
because we must realize that there must be a propriety in the dealing between different.
Sir, no, sir.
And I have something to say. Sir. I believe that the context of a chief minister making it when discussing a question of accountability, if she had said it in the floor of the legislature when they were discussing an accountability
bill,
take your point. Nobody could have questioned it.
Mr. Sundaram.
Because when discussing an accountability bill, if a statement had been made, look, there is an element of corruption in the judiciary. We must deal with it.
Sure.
Nobody would have questioned it. Now, it is because it was said in a speech, in which case all I would say is it is a matter perhaps of a lack of delicacy more than anything else.
Ranjit Kumar, there is a very, very clear legal judgment here. Justice Singhvi and Ashok Kumar Ganguly have noted this.
Can't hear anything.
Either you can have, Ranjit Kumar, a fair criticism of the system, or you can make a sweeping generalization.
Well,
was she making a sweeping generalization?
According to me, she has made a sweeping generalization. According to me, there was no question of a judicial accountability bill being in the West Bengal legislature. It's supposed to be a parliamentary enactment to be considered in parliament. There was nothing in the assembly of that kind. Number two, no such sweeping general allegation should ever be made. If you have proof of somebody, you please produce it. The person must be prosecuted and the culprit brought to justice. But to make that one pillar of the entire democracy, the entire judiciary, that everybody is corrupt, is a very, very wrong thing to do, and it should never happen, because then we are tarnishing the one great pillar of this institution, democratic institution, which has functioned well and which is the only ray of hope which many people have.
No, but does that mean there is no corruption in the judiciary?
Which Mr. Aryaman says.
No. Are you saying there's no corruption in the judiciary?
Bring it to light. What I am saying is, if there is some, please bring it to light. Please complain about it. Please take action about it. But don't make general sweeping allegations. That's the wrong thing to do.
I want to continue.
Perception amongst the public is No, perception amongst the public is that judiciary is the institution which is still doing good.
Yeah,
And
but
the
you cannot...
perception that everybody is corrupt, maybe of a litigant who has
No.
lost a case.
No, the only...
A disgruntled litigant making that allegation is not the right thing
Why
to
are
do.
you saying she's a disgruntled litigant? That's now, you are linking something which I am not
No,
linking.
I am not saying she is. I am not saying she is. I am saying about the perception which Mr. Sundaram
No,
talked of.
no, there's...
That perception among
here's
the
what
public
it says.
or the litigant is so.
Our viewers, our
Yeah,
Newshour
I
viewers
don't
are
agree with
asking...
that.
Newshour viewers are asking, is there a judgment to cite? Yes, there is a judgment to cite. Neeraj Kishan call, the judgment to cite is in the Indirect Tax Practitioners Association, Bangalore versus R.K. Jain, August 13. Justice Singhvi and Ashok Kumar Ganguly say, except when the criticism is ill-motivated or construed as a deliberate attempt to run down an institution. So the only question, Mr. Kaul, is, was Mamata's criticism an attempt to run down the institution, or was it fair criticism of a system of administration of justice? In your view, what was it?
Arnav, first of all, I think what's most important to keep in mind in this debate is that people in high positions are not meant to use intemperate language. Prudence and responsible statements are important. You can have a debate. Every institution may have a problem, but there's a way to go about it. You don't get up in a seminar as the Chief Minister of a state and make a sweeping statement. No one is shying away from a debate. Every organ of the state may have a problem. There are forums to discuss it. There are ways to discuss it. But you don't get up and say all judgments are procured by giving money. Now that's what is wrong. It's like if a court turns around and says the entire government is corrupt. It wouldn't be accepted, it wouldn't be taken as a responsible statement, and that's what is important. You can have constructive criticism, you can have debates in a democracy, but a Chief Minister of a state is expected to show more responsibility, is expected to show more prudence while making statements. And secondly, this was not a statement made on the floor of the House. The House was not in session. It was a seminar on the Platinum Jubilee of an assembly, and even the subject involved. Sorry, no one is saying she can't debate or comment. No one is saying that. In a democracy, everyone is entitled to debate every issue. But there is a manner and way of going about it.
Mr. Kaul, Assembly was not in session. Privileges provide immunity when the comments are made on the floor of the State Assembly. Assembly was not in session. So I don't know if she enjoys the privileges, her speech, alleging that judgments...
I don't know. I don't know either. The Supreme Court judgments are very clear that for privileges to be enjoyed, the House has to be in sitting.
No.
The course of business has to be conducted. Only then you enjoy privilege. But that's not the issue. The issue is not whether it's a contempt of court or not.
No.
The issue is about propriety. The issue is about the way a Chief Minister conducts herself. And three organs of the state must show mutual, healthy respect for each other while debating various issues.
I take your point and I want to ask a counter question to Aryaman Sundaram.
Can I react to that?
Mr. Sundaram, can I ask you a small counter question, sir? Even before you start.
Yeah.
So I was listening to what you said at the start, but when I go back, I find that there was a case against a particular minister after his comments as a Supreme Court lawyer on judges was published in a magazine. I'm not taking names. Perhaps you know. In that case, the Supreme Court dismissed the charge and ruled that a fair and reasonable criticism of a judgment, which is a public document or a public act of a judge concerned with the administration of justice, would not constitute a contempt of court.
Absolutely.
In the judge's opinion, such fair encouragement would be... Yes.
Arnab, that is exactly what I wanted to say. Reacting to what Mr. Neeraj Kaul has said, the first question is it an act of contempt? The question of immunity arises if there was a statement in contempt. Now, according to me, if it was contemptuous, an issue, the way it was stated, there would be no immunity. But that's a pure legal issue which I am commenting on as my view because of the nature in which or the circumstances in which it was made. However, the question is, what was said, was it contemptuous in itself? According to me, for a public person to make a statement about a public institution that it is also fraught with certain ills cannot be said to be a contemptuous statement which is intended to scandalize.